All right, everybody, welcome. This is Craig Valine, and this is our sixth coaching call for Ultimate Lead Generation Machines. And let me switch to presentation mode. All right, here we go. Today I thought we would tackle the subject, in a world of distraction, how to grab your customers and prospects' attention. Because it all does have to do with lead generation, and I would even suggest that it has to do with re-lead generation. So once we've already had a relationship with a customer or client or whatnot, whatever we call them, sometimes we have to get them back into our funnel because we've lost them in some way, shape, or form. The other thing that we're going to talk about today is that how to compete with other things going on outside of our control, and how to kind of connect with that. It's connecting with the conversation currently occurring in the prospect's mind. So again, today's subject is, in a world of distraction, how to grab your customers and prospects' attention. So I'm going to go through this information right now. And if you have questions, please just write it down, and then I will take them at the end of the call. So,
Craig, can I just say one thing? Actually, I cut in the link, and it just took me to go to the CD page, but I didn't see anything about a code.
Are you listening? If you're listening to the call online, Trevor, if you could hit mute, please.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're watching online, you're also listening and talking online. So you probably need a headset if you're doing that. If you're listening by phone, you're not going to be able to see what I see. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I just couldn't. I'm listening. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So, in a world of distraction, how to grab your customers and prospects' attention. We'll first start with lost customer reactivation because, like I said, sometimes we can do everything to generate the quality lead that we're looking for, start a profitable and beneficial relationship that benefits both the customer and ourselves, but sometimes they stray and go away. And so one of the things we need to do is get them back into our funnel, and lead generation has everything to do with that, to regenerate a qualified lead. So a lost customer, and this is Bill Glazer and Dan Kenny's definition, is the third easiest customers to attract. The first one is already, our current customers. If they're already doing business with us, chances are they're easy to sell because we already have a relationship with them. Second easiest customer to sell and attract is a referred customer, because they come referred to us by generally a happy, satisfied, person who says, oh, you got to use my guy, or you got to use this product or service because it's the best. Well, they're easy to convert into a paying customer because they've been told that we are good at what we do, or we have a good quality product or service. And again, the third easiest one is someone who's already done business with us. These people are, number one, easy to get attention with because they recognize our name or our company name. They've already had, hopefully, a good experience with us. So getting them back in is the strategy. So getting them back in to say, yes, I want to do business with you. So why customers don't return? Generally, they could be dissatisfied with the product or service. They've had a bad experience. Yesterday I took my son to Magic Mountain along with a few of my nephews. Hit mute, please, if you're online here. So we took him to Magic Mountain, and wow, I don't know if you've been to Magic Mountain any time recently or in the past, because it really hasn't changed, but you compare that to going to Disneyland, and it's two different things. Let's forget about what each one is about for the moment, because that has a lot to do with it. But you go to Disneyland, and a piece of trash is dropped, it's picked up within seconds. You see gum on the ground, it's picked up within seconds. You go into the restrooms, it does not smell like urine. Well, you walk into Magic Mountain, and we were there before the gates opened, so we went into the restroom, said, gotta pee, had too much coffee, got into the restroom, and it smelled like urine. There was trash on the ground. No one had been in there. We were the first ones in there. crappy experience. I don't want to go back. Plus, I don't think at my age my body can handle those roller coasters anymore. But see, even if Magic Mountain made me a compelling, irresistible offer to go back, I don't think I would, because I just did not have a good experience, and some people don't. Okay, good book to read if you do not have it or you've never read it. It's called Broken Windows, Broken Business by Michael Levine. And it talks about basically a study that was done back in the 70s by these two people that says basically when a window is broken in a business and it's not tended to, chances are other things, other criminal activity will occur as a result of it. Because if you don't fix a broken window, chances are you're showing that you don't really care. That's the perception, at least. You don't care enough to fix the window. So what other things don't you care about, right? If the building needs to be painted, if it's a mess when you walk into the restroom, it's these perceptions that lead you to believe that if one thing is broken, then other things might be broken. Okay, so this just kind of ties into this particular bullet point right here. Is if something's broken in your business, fix it immediately. Fix it before it's even noticed. Because the perception is you walk into a dirty, and just an example, you walk into a dirty restroom, it's like they don't care about their restroom. Well, I've heard people literally say this at a restaurant. We're not in the restaurant business, we're in the food business, so that's not a priority to us. I disagree. If your restroom's not clean, then what else isn't clean in your restaurant, right? That's my perception. Whether it's real or not, that's the perception. So people don't come back to do business with you because they're dissatisfied with something. And that could be anything. And you've got to pay attention to what's going on in your business and fix it immediately. So again, that book is Broken Windows, Broken Business by Michael Levine. Excellent. And by the way, I met Michael Levine, so did Brian, who's on this call, at David Fagan's Icon Boot Camp. What a guy. Just outstanding presentation and speaking style and genuine, authentic kind of guy. He's a Hollywood publicist, been a publicist to presidency of the United States and everything. Just this incredible guy. So you know the book is going to be, I can tell you the book is awesome. It's a good book. And by the way, I was reading it. I took it with me because I knew I wasn't going to go on every ride with my son and my nephews. I was reading it in between, going on rides. And I'm looking at things around the park going, oh, there's a broken window. There's a broken window. There's a broken window. And of course, I'm speaking metaphorically, but so many areas of improvement they need to make to change the customer's perception. Okay, number two, they don't come back because they no longer require your product or service. So maybe they've moved on, maybe their situation has changed, but you've got to understand that why don't people come back? Well, hey, I've moved on. I'm not at that level anymore. I don't need that product or service, or it's just understand that. It's just a common part of business. Okay, they know it's no longer convenient to do business with you. Meaning they moved away, they work on the other side of town, and by the time they get home, it's too late. So they'll do business with you, if it's convenient for you. But if it's not, sorry. Like I did business downtown for a long time, so I didn't bring my dry cleaning to the guy who's around the corner. I brought it to the guy downtown because it was just easier. They've switched to another provider of your product or service. That could be for any number of reasons. Number one, it could be because you just don't communicate with them often enough, and when they needed your product or service, well, someone got to them first. That's why a customer newsletter is critical. That's why mailing to them on a regular basis is critical. That's why emailing on a regular basis is critical. You've got to have multiple touches every single week, every single month, okay? Because otherwise, the guy who mails or emails or sends or phone calls or whatever comes to them when they're thinking about it, when they're thinking about your product or service, well, they're going to get the business and you're not. So remember, treat every customer or client relationship like a dear and valued friend. Would you not communicate with your family or a best friend over a month or 3 months or a year? No, you got to mail to them on a regular basis. Treat them like dear and valued friends. They could be embarrassed because they've been away so long. It's like, he's going to give me a hard time if I go in there, so I'm not going to go back. Well, a lot of people do that with doctors, with people that you've had a great relationship with before. I have a restaurant that I go to in Pasadena, which has many broken windows as well, metaphorically again. But, I show up and they're like, where the hell have you been? You used to come in all the time. It's like, well, I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't you reach out to me and say, why don't you come back in, right? One of their broken windows is they don't mail to their customers. They don't do anything. And their excuse is, you don't know the business, you don't know the restaurant business, Craig. So, somehow staying in touch with your customers has something to do with the restaurant business. No, every business is the same fundamentally. But, sometimes I feel embarrassed to go in because I'm like, oh, they're going to give me such a hard time, right? So know that. Make it easy for them to come back. Okay, it's very important. And the last reason is they just plain out forgot. If they didn't need your product or service immediately, or if, you get it. Let's say I go to a specialty store here in Pasadena for some meats on a regular basis, but, if I just need it real quick, I'll just run down the corner. It's on the corner, right? Another store where it's more convenient for me. It doesn't mean that I didn't like the other store. It's just like, well, I had to do that, so I just started going here because it's more convenient. I just forgot about that other resource because some pattern changed and caused me to do things differently. So understand the reasons why people don't return. It rarely, if you're good at what you do, it rarely has to do with you. Sometimes it's just them. Life changed. Something happened. Something changed their attention to you. And therefore, we have to understand that. We can't blame us all the time, although it helps to just say, I'm not sure if it was me, if I did something that caused you to come. No, it wasn't you. Many times that'll happen. All right. It's not their job to remember to come back and do business with you. It's your job to remind them, okay? Just as like it's, in any relationship, it's not, your friend's job or your girlfriend's job or your wife or whatever to remember, hold on one second. Evidently the sound is bad. Hold on one second. Okay. Do me a favor. I'm pausing for a second. If you can hear me, unmute and say I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. John
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay. So is the sound better right now?
A little bit. Yes,
Okay. So
but you were really breaking up the last time. You were
Okay.
really breaking up.
thank you for sharing that. Okay. So hopefully it's better because my the audio signals look a little stronger here. So I appreciate you. All right. Back to our program. All mute. All right. So it's not their job to remember to come back and do business with you. It's your job to remind them. Okay. Because again, when you're not reminding them to do business with you, then other people who do business like you are reaching out to them. And like I said, life is a moving parade, so they may not need your product service at this particular moment, but when they do, who are they going to go to, right? It's like I have a friend who's a plumber, and they're great people. I love them. They're truly good people. But when I needed a plumber because they weren't on the top of my mind, we went and found a plumber in the Yellow Pages or online, So if they were in my mind, if they were in front of me all the time, even if they put a magnet that I could put on my phone or do something, I would have reached out to them. So very, very important that you stay in touch on a regular basis and remind them that they should be doing business with you. Every business has a specific time when someone becomes a lost customer. So just to be fair, I'll share this example. Okay, so say every morning you get coffee from the same restaurant and maybe even breakfast. Okay, and every morning, like clockwork, for the last 5 years, you've been in on every morning for breakfast. And then say one day goes by and you're not there. That waitress or owner or whatever should say, where's John today? He should be in. Okay, 2 days go by. And where's John? I'm getting worried. John has been here every single day for the last 5 years. Why is he not here? Okay, that's a signal. That should go off in the mind and say something's wrong. Okay, you got to think about that in your business. Like for instance, at our meetings every month, right? When somebody doesn't show up for the second month in a row, I'm very concerned. Okay, and that's when I start a campaign to reach out by phone or by a combination thereof. to reach out and say, you haven't been to the meeting in a couple months. Where were you? Right? In fact, Trevor, who's on this call, wasn't at the last meeting. I was concerned. I reached out to him, and he happened to be at a conference with another member. So, I mean, I notice these things, and I've got to pay attention. So you got to do the same thing too. What is that time when someone should have been in touch with you, someone should have done business with you, and they didn't? When is it time to pick up the phone or send a mailing and invite them to come back in? You got to know it. Lost customers need to be placed in a separate reactivation campaign. This is not something you're going to put them in with the general email or mailing that goes out, although they may still be on it, but you're going to do a very, very specific campaign to bring back those lost customers, okay? Even if it's individualized, it has to be done. So, so if you use Infusion, or if you use some sort of tagging software that can tell you that now they become a lost customer, an LC or a lost client or whatever, you're going to do that separate mailing and time it. So you send out, again, just like you would with magnetic marketing, there's going to be a sequential campaign that goes back over time to get them back into the fold. It needs to let the customer know that you know they're missing, okay? And again, it has to be done sequentially. It says, hey, we've noticed that you've come to every meeting, you've kept every appointment for the last several years or whatever, or we noticed that you didn't call in for your annual checkup. You got to let them know that you noticed, and that's when you kind of empathize and say, hey, let us know how we can help. If it was something we did, be humble, put the pressure on your side, not theirs, okay? Because then they'll just say, oh, no, I'm so sorry, I forgot, I should have done it. They'll feel better, of course, if you can, number one, say, hey, maybe it was our fault, and we apologize, we dropped the ball. But the second thing is let them know. I mean, really let them know and say, we miss you, we want you back. Make them feel important. Don't give up on them if they fail to respond the first time you place them in the campaign, okay? Because remember, life is a moving parade. Things change. I had a member who joined 5 years ago who was active member for 2 years and then left for 2 years and then came back, and now they're full-time members again. And their first comment was, I forgot how great these meetings were. Well, their life changed and they didn't need us for a while, but now they're back and they appreciate it, okay? I'm pausing for a second. Anybody who was on the call who heard a weak audio signal a little while ago, I opened my door in my family's home, so if you hear some background noise, I apologize. It's just I have to do that to have the wireless signal come in through the door, so bear with it. All right, so how to get them back. After 3 postcards, send a voice broadcast, right? After anything you do, mix it up. Diversity creates stability. Remember that. Here's a good voice broadcast script you can use, okay? Hey, this is Craig from GKIC. We recently sent you 3 postcards with an offer to return. We really do want you back as a member. Please bring your offer, bring that postcard back before this expiration date. If you can't find your postcards, that's okay. Just come back and say code word, Craig's a cool dude. And we'll still give you an offer. Looking forward to seeing you at our meetings before January 29th, okay? So that's a good script, by the way. You'll have this on PDF after the call's done. But it's just simple. It's really simple. Hey, this is who I am. We sent you a couple pieces of mail. We really do want you back as a client or customer. Please bring in this irresistible, compelling offer, okay? Remember those 2 words whenever you're designing anything. Don't make it plain vanilla. If you can't find the postcard, it's okay. Just come back and use the code word, whatever. Make it simple for them to remember, okay? So the key is diversity, okay? Do a couple different things. If you send them 3 mailings, follow up with a phone call, okay? You don't want to chase them per se, but you got to remind them. Use multiple things because life gets busy. They might have received those 3 postcards, but they didn't take action because something else is going on in their life at that time, okay? Enough said on that, okay? So creating promotions, okay? The late Harry Glazer said, when looking to do a promotion, any reason will do. You don't need to find, I can't mail to them, there's no reason. Well, there's a holiday just about every single day. There's a reason. Hey, just want to say we love you and respect you as our client or our customer. We appreciate you. Any reason will do, okay? All right, guys, you're incredibly patient. Thank you. Um, so, creating promotions, how to get their attention, right? Tie into holiday promotions. Okay, we just had Christmas. What's coming up? New Year's. Maybe you can still send out emails, and you probably can still get out a mailing. Okay, but think about what else is next. Okay, aside from the obvious ones, like you got Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, you got Easter, you got Memorial Day, you got whatever happens in June, Father's Day, right? July 4th, you got whatever happens in August, September, back to school, perfect. October, Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, and Christmas in December, right? Well, think of all the mini holidays that you can tie into, okay? Great site if you don't know it. I mention it all the time, but it's called brownielocks.com. Think of chocolate brownie, locks, LOCKS.com. They have every holiday that you can imagine, stuff you'd never heard of and stuff you'd say, oh, I wondered when that holiday was. But it has holiday days, holiday weeks, holiday months, holiday years. You can tie into anything you want. So if you say, I don't know why to send this out, well, it happens to be National Hairy Armpit Day. I'm joking. But the point is, Brian Berg is brilliant at this, by the way. Dr. Brian Berg, who's our Honorary Life Chapter member, he does mailings for no apparent reason to his referral partners. Okay, and he'll write a story about it. He'll tie a story, a personal story, like a childhood story. Like one of his promotions was Root Beer Float Day, National Root Beer Float Day, and he delivered that sales letter, or that letter describing his story about why that holiday was so important to him growing up, and he delivered the fixins for the staff there to celebrate the holiday. So he created an experience along with that thing. So how can you tie it in? Like if you were going to tie into, say, let's just say National Root Beer Float Day, could you get gift certificates for a local place that serves root beer floats and give it to them? Give them a reason. Give them a compelling reason to show appreciation, or just share your story. Okay. Anniversary marketing. It's the number one most believed reason for delivering an offer. This is the anniversary of us being in business. This is the anniversary of you being a client or customer. This is the anniversary of national, whatever happened nationwide. Use it. It's so easy. You can tie in anything there. Okay. Discount gift certificates. On average, 18% of all gift certificates never get redeemed, and 96 of them, 96% of the time they are redeemed, the recipient will spend more than what they got on that gift certificate. So, for instance, GKIC, I don't know if you guys got this, but I did. I don't know if it's because I'm a Diamond member or if they sent it to all members, but they just sent $100 in GKIC bucks. Okay. So here's the thing. There's nothing at GKIC, I think, for $100. So guess what I have to do? Spend more than $100, right? And I will, because they have great stuff. But the point is, if you give a $100 gift card or gift certificate or savings discount, on average, you'll spend more. So give them the reason to come in and spend that money. Okay? And amazingly, 47% will spend at least twice the value of the certificates. Okay? These studies were given to me by Bill Glazer, who owned Men's Retail all his life. Promotions of chance. Everybody loves a chance to win. So scratch cards, okay, easy to do. You can get those done through Handy Mailing, I believe. Handy Mailing and or City Blueprint. City Blueprint. They're out of Kansas. Okay, I will post that resource on the member site for you. They are GKIC printers. They print all the fun stuff and 3D mailing and all that stuff that GKIC presents and promotes. But they can do those scratch and win cards for you. Okay, imagine how you could use that in your marketing. Disaster promotions. And again, if it's newsworthy, like people living on the East Coast could have used Sandy. Right? Flooding. If my basement is flooded, but I have all these products that need to get out so I can get new ones, how can you offer a discount or a reason to sell them? The windstorm. The wind is blowing right now. In fact, I don't know where you guys are, but the wind is blowing and my palm trees are blowing sideways, right? It's like I could make up some excuse that something got damaged or something. It's just a reason. Any reason will do. Remember that? So just find a reason. Sequential marketing. Again, you know this stuff, especially if you have magnetic marketing, which you got with the Ultimate Lead Generation machines. But this is a sequence of marketing, each one clearly referring to the one before it. Okay, and all sent in a fairly condensed period. 7 to 10 days is a good time frame to do that, so it stays top of mind. If they got the first letter and they put it down for some reason, 7 to 10 days is a good time to stay top of mind. Okay, you'll double your response with 3 touches. If you just send out one, and again we call this, one night stand marketing or booty call marketing, right? You can't just succeed with one. You're cheating yourself if you just do a one-time mailing. Send out at least 3 touches. Chris Hearn, who's a friend of mine, he's a veteran old-timer IBA out of Orlando. He owns Mercantile Capital, which specializes in SBA 504 loans for small business. He just came out with a book, but he had 57 touches in his marketing. He was competing for Marketer of the Year back in 2008, and I remember he said 50. I said 57 touches. Wow, that's huge. Each one bringing in another percentage of response. Okay, so after the 3, remember, you'll increase response. Again, multiple media simultaneously. Diversity creates stability. So don't just use letters if you can help it. Mix it up. You might use phone, you might use postcard, you might use fax, you might use email. Mix it up. Keep adding touches until it's no longer profitable for you. Trevor, I'll answer your question at the end of the call. Additional benefits of sequential marketing. There is an accumulative effect such as exposures. Okay, so there's some people who get it right now. They know that their offer is really good for them right now, and then there's people who over time that exposure reminds them, and again, it's a trust factor, right? The more times you connect with them, the more times they go, this is reliable, this is consistent, I feel like I can trust them. So that'll, again, it's a cumulative effect here. Here's some advanced sequential marketing. So just a few steps you might try. So you send a direct mail sales letter. Try one of them in the Magnetic Marketing Toolkit. Use a Pearl's email to an online video sales letter. Pearl is personal URL. The URL is, of course, the web address, right? And I'm going to share a couple resources you can use those with, but send them to something that has their name on it, that is customized, is tailored to them, okay? A Pearl's postcard to an online video sales letter, so maybe it's personalized, and on the bottom it sends them to a direct place. So the step 2 was sending them an email with the link to that Pearl page. This one would be a postcard giving them a Pearl page. And Mike Capuzzi, who created Copy Doodles, he's also an expert at personalized URLs, just created a program, and I'll share that with you in a little bit, where he puts the Pearl at the beginning of the URL versus at the end. So instead of like LAareaGKIC.com/Craig Valine, he has Craig Valine dot and then has the URL continued. So he ties it into kind of a sentence or a phrase. So like in his sales page for selling the Pearl program, he has Craig Valine dot likes pearls or likes to use pearls.com. Okay, so you could do that on a postcard or an email, and I guarantee it'll increase response. Send another Pearls email to an online sales letter. Now the other one's led to a video sales letter or an online video. This would be to a sales letter. Okay, again, you want to mix it up a little bit to see what brings in the best response. Send CDs, CD, sales letter, self-mailer. There's sales letters that you can get done through City Blueprint mailing. I keep on saying mailing at the end of them. City Blueprint out of Kansas. Handy Mailing is right near them, so that's why they use each other, so that's why I tie into that. But there's a mailer, a self-mailer, where it opens up, it looks like a little 5x8 brochure. You open it up and the CD or the DVD is inside the fold inside, but the rest of it looks like a brochure, but it's a sales letter. Okay, very cool method for using multiple media simultaneously when you include something hard like a CD or a DVD included in it, and then you've got the actual sales letter that they can read. And as it says here, it outperforms the sales letter alone because there's another media attached to it. Okay, and then you could add a Pearls email to an online sales letter. So if you use those 5 steps right there, you're guaranteed to increase your response because you're using multiple media simultaneously in a sequential time frame. Okay, so the direct mail sales letter is the mailing with the letter. Step 2 is the Pearls email that directs them to a personalized URL that has an online video sales letter. And if you don't know what a video sales letter is, it's like a PowerPoint to video. Okay, with you using narration and voice. Step 3 is sending the Pearls postcard, which has the URL printed on the postcard, to an online video sales letter. Step 4, Pearls email to an online sales letter, which would be all text. Step 5, CD sales letter self-mailer, right? Again, multiple media in the same package. And then step 6, Pearls email to an online sales letter. And here's an example. This was one Dan did for the Info Summit a couple years ago. By the way, that's his Rolls Royce that was owned by Dean Martin. It was custom made for Dean Martin, and Dan won it in an auction. But anyway, as you can see here, it directs them to a customized URL. Down the bottom it says craigvaline.summitspecial.com. Okay, the thing that I would have added to it, I might say Craig Valine and dot we have an offer for you, or something to that effect. Customize it at the end, and that's what Mike Capuzzi's Pearl system does. Is it sets it before it instead of after the .com. So anyway, good example. And by the way, you send that to the website and it has this postcard again, so you know you're in the right spot. And then there's a recording by Dan Kennedy on the site. Okay, so here's some of the resources that I want to just share with you. I'm going to get out of that so I can show an example. So the first program is from Mike Capuzzi. I just purchased the program as a Thanksgiving special, but it starts with your name and then that particular URL. In fact, I'll show it to you in just a moment. Go there for that special offer from Mike Capuzzi if you want to use Pearls in your marketing. So you can do it by putting your first name, so Trevor, John, Brian, Jeff, whatever, likespearls.com. So if you were to go to that page right now, this is what it would look like. Okay? Because I put my full name in there. Hi, Craig Valine. Thanks for checking out this test page for your Pearl. Then you would click on the add to cart, and it brings up the offer right there. Now, by the way, I get no referral fee for sharing this with you. Mike is a friend of mine. I believe in everything he does. He's a brilliant marketer, and this is a great program. I've gone through the training. He has a special training for it, and then you use his system to use your Pearls on his server. So it's very, very, very cool. Okay. Back to the presentation. The Pearlum.com, our own Phil Lomboy uses them on a regular basis. PURLEM.com. Pearl postcards, you can get that done through handy mailing. So what they would do is anything that you have, you'd have a database and basically do a mail merge so they can set it up for you. Also, City Blueprint, I mentioned them a couple times. City Blueprint out of Kansas. They can actually create the postcards for you. They can do it in, scratch and win. They can do the Pearl printing. They can do everything for you. Very, very cool. CD duplication, if you don't already have somebody, you can do it all by yourself on kunaki.com. The only thing is, like, for instance, in this case, right, we're doing this webinar right here. I can convert it into an audio, but you have to convert it into a 16-bit so that it plays on your CD, let's say your CD player in your car. So you can transfer that. You can do that in iTunes. We'll do maybe a quick video tutorial on that in the near future. Or you can send it to them and they'll do it for you. McManusInc.com. McManus Duplication is someone that I have used for my clients and GKIC uses on a regular basis. They can do one. I think they have a minimum of 10 CDs, 10 DVDs. But even if you do one full long recording, they can mark it so that you can have, session 1, session 2, session 3, etc. And of course, if you need any help with any of this at all, I can be hired to, if I'm available. No, I'm available for you guys. You guys are good guys. To help you put that into action. So that is it for the presentation part of this. I'm closing that. Right now, I'm going to answer Trevor's question because it was on here. So Trevor's question was, when do you use shock and awe versus sequential marketing? Well, shock and awe let's describe what shock and awe is like. So using it in the form of a shock and awe kit or shock and awe package, that you would use that as a follow-up once someone raises their hand, but I would say only after they have been qualified to do so. So you only, for the expense involved for sending a shock and awe package, whether it's the actual contents of the package or if you're sending it FedEx or whatever, you want to make sure that they are pretty qualified before you send out expense, because you know the lifetime value of that client, or you know even the initial value of that client is well worth it. That's when you're willing to invest in that. So that comes in the sales process only when a qualified prospect has raised their hand. So even if you want to do that with a lost customer, or you're doing it using any of the other non-distraction methods, holiday marketing, anniversary marketing, et cetera, it's all going to come down to using shock and awe when they have raised their hand and said, I'm interested in what you have to say, and again, to a qualified individual. If you have questions this time, you can unmute and go ahead.
Hi, Craig. This is John. The brownie blocks, does that have for B2B, or is it mostly just consumer-related holidays?
It's brownie locks, kind of like Goldilocks, but brownie locks. And that's, listen, business to business and business to consumer marketing is the same. So they're going to be just general holidays. And, of course, some might be more business related that you could tie into, but I wouldn't get caught up in that. People are people, and psychology is psychology. People will respond to almost anything for any reason. Dr. Brian Berg is using the oddest holidays to connect with a professional audience, to his professional peers, to refer to him. Okay, and so using Root Beer Float Day, Pistachio Nut Day, Teddy Bear Day he's used, and he's getting constant referrals from them because he's tying into the human psychology of it all. Okay, he's tying into interest. Okay, every person outside of the business is a human being in their and we all have a kid inside of us and curiosity, and most people have a sense of humor. So yeah, don't get caught up in professional holidays versus everyday holidays, because they will connect with the individual receiving it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else?
Yeah, Craig, how you doing? This is Brian. I put a message in the chat. I mean, a question in the chat, but I'll just go out and say it.
Okay.
Anyway, you were breaking up when you were talking about why customers don't come back, and when you were talking about the fact that they feel embarrassed, and I couldn't understand because you were breaking up. But what's the reasoning behind that?
They feel embarrassed because they haven't come in to do business, and they don't want to get a ripping. For instance, my doctor, if I don't show up for my appointment, I get a ripping from her. She's like, Mr. Valine, you need to be coming to see me. You need to be taking your medicine. You need to be doing this type of thing. Well, some people fear that wrath from the people that they've been loyal to over time, but stop coming in, and they don't want to feel embarrassed, for finally coming back. It's like, where have you been? And I'm sure you've experienced it, and I'm sure you've done it, and we've experienced it with other people, is that they make up excuses. Well, I've been busy, or, oh, I'm sorry, I had to go out of town, or something happened in their lives. They make up excuses, and they just don't want to have to make up one. Why haven't you been in?
Mm-hmm.
So, the good answer is I've just been lazy, and I apologize. But you want to take that embarrassment factor away from them if possible. So just make it, hey, I'm so sorry if it was something we did, and we got lazy in not communicating with you, and we just want you to come back. Please come back. Give them incentive to come back. So, if you put it on you, then that can kind of eliminate the embarrassment.
Right. So in other words, basically just fall on the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. In other words, don't even give them the reason to feel embarrassed. Just come out and say, oh yeah, well, we might have lost communication, or we just want to have you back.
Absolutely.
To take away.
Yeah.
And then, Craig, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, and then real quickly, the first three like the easiest customer, the one I know it's the one in terms of maintaining them. It's the one that you've already had versus the one that.
So the first one is always your current customers. They're always easy to get to buy from you because they're already doing business with you and they like, know, and trust you. Second one is a referred customer or client. Because they're coming from, seemingly they should be coming from someone who is very happy and satisfied with you. So converting them to a paying customer is going to be a lot easier because they already have this preconceived notion of you, and it's like, why should you have to sell hard if they're already sold on you? Does that make sense? And then the third one, of course, is the people who have already done business with you who have been lost for some reason. If they've done business with you, they know, like, and trust you, and for whatever reason they just haven't come in for a while. Well, as long as we can kind of, again, take away the embarrassment factor and make things right, why wouldn't they feel good about doing business with you again?
I see. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Craig.
You're very welcome.
I put in the chat. The last presentation had no audio.
Yes, I redid the video right afterwards, so it's on the member site. Were you able to go back to that?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else on the call? Jeff, Trevor, any questions?
Yeah, Craig. So you use the sequential marketing for a colder list, you'd say?
No, you do that for any list. I would say in this case, let's just talk about the people you're not currently doing business with. So that could be prospects, and it could be lost customers or clients. So you're going to do anything to get them back into your sales funnel or your relationship funnel, if you will. So in this case, we focused on the lost customer because for some reason they stopped doing business with you. And I know you got on the call late, but that could happen for any number of reasons, one of which could be to the extreme of they're just not happy with your product or service, to the other ones that, hey, life changed for them, got inconvenient, or they just plain forgot and they're embarrassed to come back. So we want to treat them marketing-wise as both someone that we miss and we'd love to have back, but number two, we have to treat them marketing-wise like someone who's never done business with us, and that is getting them back into the funnel. And that is, and so there's going to be sequential marketing to get them to do that so that we can get them buying again from us.
Yeah, because I'm looking at a house list that I've gathered over the past year, and I'm trying to decide how to market to them, if I'm going to use sequence, which you laid out pretty nicely, or if I just do basically one big funk package just to get them to back in.
No, I would do it sequentially. Do something, I laid out the 5 or 6 steps there. Do everything and anything in your power to get them to raise their hand again, to get back in the funnel. And if that's offering them something, and I wouldn't sell them something, get them back in to raise their hand. So to watch a video, to opt in to watch a video, or to receive a free gift, whatever it might be, you've got to ethically bribe them to get interested in hearing what you have to say again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
That's it. And then once they've raised their hand, then you actually,
you want to communicate with them on a regular basis. I wouldn't just slam them with an offer, although you could. So for instance, if you led them to a video, a helpful video, and it should be fully content. Whatever gift you give them should be content related, not another sales letter necessarily. But afterwards you could say, hey, I noticed you watched the entire video and maybe there's a drop-down offer. If you'd like to come, or if you'd like to meet for a free consultation, or if you'd like take advantage of whatever, something that you could do that because the fact that they watched an entire presentation means they have interest in what they just watched. So what else can you add on to that? That'd be a good way to get them into the sales cycle. But if they didn't, then you've got to have a follow-up campaign that nurtures that relationship. And that's why monthly newsletter is powerful. That's why sharing stories about people you've helped over the last month is helpful. You've got to nurture that relationship on a regular basis.
Okay. And then did that resource that you gave us, Kunaki, is that so you can get the professional CD covers and so forth?
Well, that is a do-it-yourself system. You could send them the recording by mail, by DVD, or you can upload it from your computer. It does take a little bit of time, so do it from a computer that you're not using, or be willing to walk away from it. Do it at night. But no, you would upload your own cover, or they have a cover maker, but it doesn't have fancy designs. It's just very simple. But you can just upload a JPEG, a custom-made JPEG that you could get done on, Fiverr, a site like Fiverr or Elance or Odesk or something like that, and then you just upload it. But it comes out. It can come out looking like a very professional CD or DVD. It's very inexpensive. It's like $1 per unit, and there's no minimum. Yeah, you just do one or 10 or 100. I mean, it's up to you. And they will also ship if you want it to. So you say, hey, ship this CD to this place. The only disadvantage is if you wanted to include it as part of a shock and awe kit, you can't do that because they'll only ship the CD. But you can order multiple copies and have it sent to you, and then just include it in your package.
And then, like, you're kind of suggesting a lot of different kinds of postcards, and usually those postcards are done with bulk order. Is there a way to actually, maybe just get about 500 of my lost customer postcards or something to that effect?
Well, you could. I mean, it's up to you. I would say, look, anything is better than nothing. So use what you got if you need to. The fact is, you need to start a campaign to get them back on board, and if what you got will work, then use it. But make sure you give them a reason for coming back. So give them a gift, offer them something. Could be a video, could be something actual, something physical, could be whatever. But give them a compelling, irresistible reason to come back. And if your postcards will do that now, then do that. Otherwise, you can do small-time printing. I use a site called gotprint.net. They're out of Burbank, and I can do 100-piece postcards printing, and I can design it myself. There's another one that I use called, and it's right here, and I use it, directmailmanager.com. That can tie into many other things that you might be already using. That you can do it, and it's, again, very, very nominal investment per unit.
Okay.
So yeah, do whatever you can, but the more you can personalize it, the better. Okay.
Right. And Capuzzi was showing us like a lot of mail merge, and put different names on the postcards so that it's personalized.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to see if these guys can do something like that, or if I can create something like that.
You know what? Direct Mail Manager can do that. They can personalize it, especially if you use some of the other programs, like the plug-in programs that they have. I use High-Rise HQ, and that's like a database software, and they all kind of plug into each other. So, and you can tag. It has a tagging feature, which is brilliant. Because if you don't want to pay for Infusionsoft, this unit will tag, and you can have as many tags as you want: male, female, business owner, non-business owner, whatever. Okay. You can tag it, and then you can mail. Then you can also tag it lost customer, and then you can mail just to them. So if it's just 7 people, then mail to 7 people.
So like they allow you to create a database and segment it and everything.
Yep.
Just right on there. Okay.
Yep. It's a great program.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Right.
Craig, what was that out of Burbank? You said something out of Burbank that you used.
Gotprint.net. So G-O-T, like got milk, it's Gotprint. Gotprint.net. And they have lots of unique types of mailers that you can create, or not even mailers, but anything that you want printed, and they have small runs. So I think the smallest run is like 100. But when you've gotten those postcards in the mail, like the telegram postcards and things like that, I've done them through them. So, and they're very, very affordable, and they're quick too. They have like a 2 or 3 day turnaround.
Yeah, and Craig, when you talk about like the self-mailer, I'm trying to visualize. What do they? I've heard that before. Self-mailer.
Yes, a self-mailer could be a postcard, or it could be a piece of paper folded, or like a newsletter folded. Now, there's new rules coming up, and I don't have them in front of me, but I will put them on the member site. The Postal Service has new rules for self-mailers coming up in the next year. And one of which is it has to be a certain grade of paper or a certain pound of paper. So just be aware of that. Like, you can't just print off something off your computer, like 20 pound paper, fold it and mail it anymore, because they'll fine you for it, or they won't mail it. So because it has to be what they call machinable, has to run through their machines and not tear up, because they're finding that they're spending more time fixing those things, putting tape on it, adding labels to them, because they don't run through the machine. So I know Jeff Fields on the call, but we did this. I read it off at the mastermind the other day. I think it's 80-pound paper, 60 to 80-pound paper that needs to be used for self-mailers. So that could be, like I said, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that you fold in half and tab.
Oh, I see.
And again, the tabs have to be done a certain way too. So again, I will post that on the member site within the next couple of days, so you'll have that resource. So if you're going to just fold it and not put it in an envelope, you'll know how it's done. But really, the best bet, if it's not a postcard, is to put it in an envelope.
Okay, I see. So okay, I see. And then I guess we need to know what the certain grade of paper is in terms of the requirement.
Correct. And there are paper stores around town, or you can order them online. Just make sure that it's a certain diameter. And some printers can handle them, some can't. So you're just going to have to kind of do a test with it.
Oh, okay. But do we know what that certain grade is, or I guess that has to be determined?
No, that's what I'll post on the website. I don't have it right in front of me right now. I have to go through my mastermind handouts. In fact, hold on one second. I might have it right here. I do have it right here. So stand by. All right. So it says it must be at least a 70-pound paper. Okay. So for 1 ounce, if you're doing just a 1 ounce mailer, one stamp, it's 70 pounds. If it's 2 ounces, it's got to be 80 pound. Okay. So newsprint weight for a quarter folded is 55-pound paper. And the maximum size for that is 6 1/8 by 10 1/2. And again, I'll put this on the member site. Not something you have to worry about at this moment.
Okay. Thanks, Ray.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any last questions? Because we've got to wrap this up here. Okay, nobody's unmuting, so we're going to wrap up the call here. If you have questions, remember, you can always email me. And this recording and the resources and things that I mentioned on this call will be up on the member site within the next couple days. Realize it takes me a little time because I have to edit the video.
Hey, Craig.
Yes.
Sorry, I just thought of a question. On the Ninja Sales Funnels DVD, they start to lay out in detail what kind of nurturing and case study campaigns that they do, and kind of show you what the sales letters. Would that seem to be like another product? Do you know what product that is?
They do it for magnetic marketing.
Okay.
And they do it for how to create personality and copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right,
So, and by the way, they use those. So, for instance, if that person didn't buy, they will get them to buy into the most incredible free gift ever. They get them to buy the magnetic marketing, and then they attach the free gift, the most incredible free gift, to the end of that. It's like, hey, this is a bonus as a result of doing it. Versus their initial attempt is to get them to try out the free gift, try out the membership. So. So even if they say, no, I'm not interested right now, but I am interested in magnetic marketing, well, guess what? Along with magnetic marketing, you also get a free membership to GKIC for 2 months. So they end up becoming a member nonetheless, but it's just, they have to come in a different door to get it. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Craig, you're going to talk briefly about the Icon Summit, just to remind you.
Sure, I will announce that. So let me pause for a second so I can edit it off the call. Okay. So David Fagan, who spoke at our meeting in November, and I spoke at his boot camp back in December, he invited members who are interested to attend his home in Ojai this coming Saturday, the 29th, for what he calls an Icon Summit. And what this really is a meeting of the minds. It's networking amplified. He brings in people that are very influential, and you get to meet and talk with them. And I have to say, the first time that I attended his Icon Summit back in August, I brought Phil Lomboy with me, was an incredible day. It's a day-long event from about 10 till about 8 o'clock at night, 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and you meet people that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. These are people that, for instance, are experts at what they do. And I've gotten more speaking engagements. I've gotten more speakers in line for next year for the local chapter. I've got invited to be on an experts panel. Just because of these introductions that I did not have before, for joint ventures, for lots of other things. And I have to say, in the last 5 months since I attended that, I have probably made more money in the last 5 months than I did the entire year. So very powerful. So if you'd like to attend, I will I'll add the link on the website, but it's basically iconsummit.com. Just register, and his address will be revealed to after you register. But if you can make it, come. See what he's doing at this event, meaning putting all these people in a room at his home, at his beautiful home on top of a mountain in Ojai, and what he's doing to earn the right to be able to share what he's doing for his clients. And, because everybody has such a great experience, has he earned the right to be able to share a few things he's done with his clients? Of course he has. And so that's brilliant in and of itself. So if you want to witness that, go to iconsummit.com, register, and be there before noon on Saturday. All right, we're going to end this call. I got to move on because I got another appointment in 15 minutes. Thank you, gentlemen. I shall see you and hear from you soon.